And call on Senator Michael McDowell. You have 8 minutes.
Alas, Herdig, I want to welcome the Minister here today, and I want to echo the sentiments expressed by Senator Ward. There's a number of things that I want to simply say to you now. There is a scandal going on now in the central office of the High Court that you cannot go in there and get a summons issued unless you make an appointment in advance. And most of the staff there, what used to be a system, you went to a counter, you said, here's the summons, I want to issue it. It was issued, and that was it. Now you have to go through an elaborate thing to make an appointment with a particular official to issue a summons. And that came in during COVID and hasn't been stripped back. And it's a matter for the Department of Justice, the Court Service, and the President of the High Court to end this immediately and to bring back basic efficiencies. I mean, the idea that you have to make an appointment for an over-the-counter service is grotesque. And I'd like to have, when we're doing a study on how the court system works, to see how many of those staff have now taken to working from home or working a number of days in the office and a number of days from home. It's a scandal, and it's really contributing to costs, delays, and all the rest of it. The second thing I want to say is in relation to the whole question of legal aid fees. The attitude of the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform, or whatever they call themselves now, is just scandalous, and it's cowardly. I mean, I don't mind, I'm a senior counsel. The whole question about legal aid fees doesn't affect me, obviously. But when I saw some of the figures that were in the Irish Times the other day, and the Irish Times took the trouble to actually trail a criminal practitioner and see what she or he got done in a day, what proportion of the council's work was done for nothing, what they actually got by way of earnings for a day's work. It was scandalous, and none of the cowards in Deeper would work under those conditions. As Senator Ward has said, none of them would work on the basis of no pension, no guarantee of anything, and less money than you would pay to have somebody come to your house to take a look at your fridge if it was malfunctioning for a day's work, for somebody who has to pay insurance, somebody who has to pay fees to the Bar Council, their own overheads, contribute to their own pension at no expense to the state, and in addition has to be tax compliant to get a cent from this government. It's a scandal, and it's a cowardly scandal being orchestrated by the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform because they have some notion that barristers as a group get too much money, so they pick on the weakest and most vulnerable and the comparatively the poorest barristers, and they won't restore them their 8%, which they took off for some reason, when everybody else, all of us here, have had our pay restored. They have a nasty little gesture that they refuse point blank to give these people back what they were originally paid a long time ago, and forget about inflation in the meantime. It's an absolute scandal. And I'm saying that those people who are making those decisions in that department should look at themselves in a mirror and should read that article in the Irish Times and ask themselves, do they stand over...
Senator, you're swaying away from the topic of the bill.
I'm talking about the legal aid system. Yeah. And I'm sticking very much with this bill. Do you realise, does this House realise that Senator Ward has told you, has his words been ignored, that our legal aid system is creaking so much that somebody today sent forward for trial is given a date in 2025 for a jury trial? I mean, that's a scandal. It's a complete scandal. Think of a rape victim, or a little old lady whose house was burgled and she was badly beaten up. Think of people in those circumstances, not to mention a person who is accused of a case and eventually gets acquitted. Two and a half years to get a trial. I mean, what kind of planet are we living on? And look at the system in England as well. People in England who commit murders. A prison officer who scandalously kidnapped and killed a woman. He's in jail now, and long since in jail. In Ireland, he would be probably in the first 2 or 3 years of his bail period. That's a scandal, and something has to be done about it, and it is the Minister for Justice's responsibility. And when I held that office, I was worried enough about delays as they were then. And they were bad then. Everything in Ireland seemed to take twice what it took in any other jurisdiction to get somebody tried. But now it's 3 or 4 times what's happening in other places. So I say this is a scandal. And I want to mention one other thing. Senator Ward said, you know, if you want the system to work better and you're appointing all these extra judges, you should take a look at their conditions of retirement. And I agree with them. There is no reason why a judge shouldn't now sit until she or he is 72 years of age. There's a lot of experience there. And just when you tell that person, sorry, you're gone at 70, you're wiping out a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom. But again, and I come back to deeper, in, I think, 2011 or 2013, that period, a bill was put before this House to say that a judge, in order to get a full pension, had to serve 20 years rather than 15. And I want to reiterate for the record in this House, there was a gross deception of the houses of the Oireachtas. That provision could only be discovered by somebody who went minutely through a schedule to the bill and found that 20 had been substituted for 15. There was no reference to it in the explanatory memorandum, nor was either House ever told that this was being done. And the result was that people effectively had to be a judge at the age of 50 if they were to get a pension, and people who were 55 could never get a full pension. And that, again, was done by the agreement of DEPR. And I say again, you know, these houses were not respected in respect of this matter. This change was snuck through in the most disreputable way, and the result is that we are not getting full value from the appointments of judges that we make, and the 72 years of age retirement would be a great help with that. So I welcome the presence of more judges. I welcome the plans to increase productivity in the whole court system. It may require a different approach to vacations, it may require a different approach to sitting hours. All of those things, I'm long enough in the tooth to be able to say that there is room for improvement in all of those areas. But I do say this, that because the court service is an independent body, direct responsibility for the malfunctioning of the administration of justice has effectively disappeared from the Department of Justice to the court service to the judiciary or whatever. Nobody is accountable for the massive delays. And although the appointment of more judges may be part of the remedy, there's much more that needs to be done to bring our system of justice up to scratch, and in particular to end the scandal that it can take 2 or 3 years to get a trial before a jury in a rape case or an abuse of a child, sexual abuse of a child case. How scandalous and wretched is that? That's all I'll say.